Hello, hello.
How's it going, man? This is DrZealot. This is Blaze Casting. I guess I should differentiate who is who. I am Blaze Casting. This guy here is DrZealot, going to be co-casting with me for this Team Liquid in-house game. How's it going, man?
It's going excellent today, and Blaze, thank you so much for having me on. For those of you who don't know me, I am DrZealot, as Blaze said, and together we are the Blazing Zealots, and we're going to bring you a really excellent game here. Now, Blaze, I've been watching the stream just a little bit, and we've had some exciting games, but what I want to know right now is these in-house Team Liquid games. Can you tell me a little bit more about them?
Pretty much started off just the community. Once, at least I don't know if it happened before, but when Dota 2 was picked up by Team Liquid, although the forums got really more active in the Dota 2 department. I know they had a forum beforehand, but one of the biggest threads that got opened up was just Team Liquid in-house. And so pretty much they started talking in forums, and they established a Steam group. And so pretty much you jump into a Steam group or just check for the password. It's always TLIH. But pretty much with that, just all these community members of Team Liquid jump on, have fun, join together. Some of them are noobs, and people try to help them learn a little bit better about the game. Otherwise, it's just, you know, playing high level. In this case, we had like maybe 16 people in the pool, so they actually did a draft that kind of picked the cream of the crop here to go against one another, balance out the teams a little bit in this case. So whenever they have enough, they try to get it going, and I try to cast for them as best I can. So it's been very fun so far.
Absolutely, and the best thing about having a community like Team Liquid is that you can go and you can have fun and you can hang out with all of these amazing people almost any time of day. So yeah, definitely go and support them. Look that up at teamliquid.net. You can click on the Dota 2 tab and you can see the forums or you can see the news there. Now, Blaze, can you go ahead and let's talk a little bit about the lineup that's going out. We got some interesting bans and a couple of interesting picks already.
Yeah, I'm very interested that Darkseer got through the banning phase, and it's been kind of like the most common ban in general that I've seen, even still in the competitive scene. He got some nerfs to Vacuum, but in general he still is a very promising hero, can set up some really good AoE initiations, pulling him in on the Fireflight, for example, so that's a really interesting combination. The Darkseer possibly going on the long lane there, really good suicide laner. Along with that, the Batrider adding a lot to just the solo mid. We saw him very, very promising with the Blink Dagger initiation, things along those lines. It didn't pay off for them exactly. He was a very aggressive player for the Batrider last game, and so he jumped into situations they probably shouldn't have. It didn't really capitalize on his momentum, his potential, but in general he has a lot on the Dire lineup, just starting things off. The AoE burst damage from and a lot of movement control. I mean, the Flame Break as well as the Lasso, both of those pulling the enemy to and fro wherever you want them, along with the Vacuum, so you really control where you want the enemy to be. And from there, I think it synergizes really well with this third pickup, which is Jakiro, setting up combination, the Ice Path, the Dual Breath, the Macro Fire. It's going to be insane. I expect some really big play wombo combos, people getting devastated by magic damage, and if they don't get a very, very tanky pipe carrier right off the bat, Titan or Pudge, I think they're going to have a lot of trouble.
Yeah, before at the International 2, a lot of what we saw with Wombo combo was a lot of Darkseer Naga Siren, but this might be the new Wombo combo where you grab Batrider, you use his ult, you throw down the wall with Darkseer, and you just drag him straight through the wall. And man, this is going to be a sick lineup coming out from our team here. Now, I'm really interested. They go for the Crystal Maiden. Now, that might help them lock down that Batrider initiation just a little bit.
Definitely could try it. One big issue with the Batrider is he can easily single somebody out with the Lasso, especially once he gets that Blink Dagger up, but if they want to pursue, that's when the Vacuum comes into play. It's like, okay, well, he grabs one person, pulls him back, the other four just initially, the gut reaction is to help him out, to run in there and try to take down the Batrider, and with that, pulling right into the Darkseer's hands, going with the Vacuum, with the wall, and with Jakiro's AoE, so it's going to be very, very devastating. Crystal Maiden can prevent that a little bit. Long-range Frostbite will be enough to keep Batrider where he is, so you don't always have to clump up just to lock him down. But yeah, I definitely think they need some range of presence, maybe a Beastmaster going for that pipe instead to get the roar on the Batrider as kind of a counteraction, so they just disable each other and nothing really comes of it. But yeah, it's going to be really hard. They really have to be very careful about their positioning if they're going to be able to come out on top, and they definitely need something that can scale into the late game, because the mid game, at least from my perspective, is currently in the hands of Dire.
Yeah, and Ambrosia, thinking exactly what I was thinking, that the Undying would be a great pick for our bottom team here, and of course they ban it straight out. I think both teams right now, they need something maybe a little bit tanky. They got the lockdown, they got the stun, maybe the Darkseer is a little bit tanky there, but you know, I would like to see you know, maybe even like an Ursa or you know, a lone druid coming into one of these lineups.
Yeah, that'd be very, very interesting there. I haven't seen an Ursa pick in a serious game, but obviously he brings a lot to the table and has a lot of potential there. I definitely think the Lone Druid could be very effective in some fashion. The one thing that is, though, that he gets a lot of benefit from his ultimate through health and physical armor, but not so much on the magical armor end, so he's definitely going to have to pick up a cloak very early on if he's going to be picked up by either team. But he does add up a lot in the lane potential and things along those lines. Now the Undying Band, very, very smart there. Jakiro Undying is one of the most powerful tri-lane compositions I've seen. Obviously that's only 2 of the 3, but they can just pick up a carry of any sort and add them in there very aggressively. The Tombstone and the Ice Path. Ice Path being one of the most powerful spells in the game now with that really short cooldown and mana cost. So we'll see how that kind of plays out, if the Jakiro player can really take advantage of his what he has. But they're actually kind of
pain pick.
Yeah, it's a really interesting pickup there. I almost feel like they're putting a little bit too much eggs in one basket kind of a thing, where they have all this AoE magic damage. I mean, you already have the Batrider AoE magic damage, the Darkseer setting it up, that was great, and the Jakiro add-on, very, very nice, but then the Queen of Pain, it almost seems like overkill, throwing in that Sonic Wave and the Scream of Pain. It's really good, and don't get me wrong, it's very, very powerful, but if they get a really good BKB hero that can capitalize on just surviving through that duration and just doing a lot of physical damage in that process, I think they can do a lot with it. So I'm expecting definitely a BKB hero pickup, maybe a Nyx. I would love to see a Nyx, as a matter of fact. Lifestealer with a BKB even, that would give him like 20 seconds of magic immunity early on, and he can just tear through a lot of these heroes, especially Darkseer with the higher health. But they go with the Shadow Fiend. I don't know what to think about that at all. I mean, he's very bursty. He has this new passive that gives him a secondary half Requiem when he does die. But in general, he is so good at dying. It's a weird way to put it, but his Necromastery, it's a very, very big disadvantage. It hits him right where it hurts whenever he does drop down, and he doesn't have any escapes. He can get locked down really hard by any types of disables. Along with that, Batrider's Sticky Napalm slows his turn rate by 70%, so Shadow Fiend trying to land those really good raises, and he's turning like a slug, it's really not going to help him out, and Night Stalker just adding in...
the tanky hero right there.
That is just giving them so much pressure, so much presence. At nighttime, it's like no bars held, or I don't even know the phrase, but they can do whatever the heck they want all over the map. Just a little bit of aggressive warding will go a long way for the Night Stalker and the Batrider all over the place. The one thing I don't like about it is the lane compositions that are set to with that. Most likely it's going to be like a Darkseer, with since they're dire, Darkseer in the bottom lane solo, and then Jakiro, Night Stalker, and I don't know, either Bat or Quap. I mean, they can't both solo. Can they? I don't know. But
yeah, I think that's what the Radiant here are thinking about right now with the Shadow Fiend, actually, is they're thinking a little bit more about the laning phase of the game. You throw that Shadow Fiend in with a Leshrac stun, or even with the Crystal Maiden, and you can lock down a hero and get First Blood pretty easily with that burst damage. Now, we have this last pick, and I really want to see something tanky come out here from our Radiant team.
Yeah, something that doesn't get shut down completely by Night Stalker Silence, but still can add a lot of oomph to the team fight. Like I said, Beastmaster has that potential, but they can still get shut down really, really hard by everything going on here. If Shadow Fiend picks up a BKB early enough, he can still work out, but Brewmaster, beautiful! That's exactly what they needed.
Exactly it! Oh my goodness! That is a moment of illumination, and I don't know who was picking. I don't know who was picking all the picks, but that was a very, very prescient moment.
Yeah, it's actually Camel Hoarder, aka Dr. Chopper, who has picked up the Brewmaster now, that was drafting that up, and it was a beautiful... I really agree with that. I mean, yeah, the one issue is Crippling Fear can shut down the Primal Split for a short period of time, but if he can just last through that with his general dodge and high-strength tankiness, if he can just survive through that, he can actually turn things around really, really hardcore, and I love that pickup. The Brewmaster bears, as far as I know, they don't... Do they proc Illusion through the Wall of Replica? I don't think they do.
That's a good question, actually. I don't know.
I forget, but it's one way or another, he's going to be able to get a lot of good disables off. I mean, throwing Night Stalker up in the air for 6 seconds, or Jakiro for that matter. I mean, all these different heroes, it's going to be a really big deal. So whatever they transition into, I think it strengthens their lanes a lot, and has the potential to just do whatever they want with it. He has a lot of flexibility, and he gives them a lot of good initiation that they need to set things up. So, we'll see.
Well, Blaze, you know, I think there was a little bit of a misclick when we started the game. It looked like somebody on the Dire side hit that glyph there, so they're not going to have that glyph available for the next 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, that doesn't help out at all. I've done that a couple times before. I have it like on a weird hotkey, and then I hit that letter when I'm trying to say something, but I haven't hit the enter key yet. Yeah. Bad times. But alas, it looks like Brewmaster is going to be going up top lane with Flameboy, Crystal Maiden. Is that going to be an aggressive tri lane? I hope so, but who would be their last one? It would be Leshrac. That's a really good lane right there. Starting off with either Frostbite or the Nova, setting up the Clap and the Split Earth. That's a lot of damage, and it's going to be really hard for... Yeah, that's a weird... Yeah, I think the Radiant have a much better tri lane by far. I think that when it comes to mid to late game, the Dire has a really painful lineup, but the problem is getting there. The Queen of Pain and the Night Stalker, and to a lesser extent the Batrider, are all very experience reliant, and if they're all laning together, they're going to be splitting that up, and they're going to need a lot to... Hold on, they have 4 up here, so I'm guessing one of them is going to be heading towards bottom, but...
They might be going for a gank here, as you can see Flameboy, Camera Hoarder, and Skater here, kind of defending the rune and watching out for that rune spawn. Let's see who gets that first rune.
Nice. Actually a really good rune for Brewmaster to set something up, if that's what he wants to go for. So he does pick that up, and if they can catch out Jakiro unexpectedly, that could be really bad.
Now they're coming up here. Are they going to be able to catch out Jakiro? He moves in. Jakiro throws down the Icy Path, but they're going to keep on moving on in. But, you know, I don't think that... Oh, but the stun goes down.
Body blocking all over the place.
It's going to go down. First blood on Jakiro.
Yeah, really nice. So that, I mean, obviously the Fireflight helped out Batrider getting out of a really terrible spot. He actually a DC for Darkseer real quick, reconnecting in. But yeah, the Batrider had no problem at all walking away with the Firefly, and the Night Stalker really, although he is slow during the daytime, wasn't in any real pressure. But the Jakiro, although getting a nice Ice Path off, the Brewmaster had Haste Rune, and that was like the one rune that could guarantee what they were about to have happen there, which was hasted, get the clap off, and from there do some really nice bloody blocking, plenty of extra damage, and we're able to bring him down. And that's really good for their good start for them. They can put out a lot of pressure in that regard. And Batrider starting off with Firefly, what's he going to be doing until level 2? Not much. I mean, you have to get really up close and personal with that Firefly to do anything with it, and without the sticky napalm, it's just going to be difficult for him to do anything there. So I think that since the experience is going to be split a lot, that Batrider is going to have a really tough time in the next couple minutes. And
yeah,
obviously Night Stalker isn't anything during the daytime, so once the night comes into play at about 6 minutes, that will be a big factor. But in the meantime, it's going to be difficult, because now the Batrider, who seems to be falling back, I don't know if he's looking at the jungle stacking. Yeah, he's stacking up the jungle, and we'll be farming that up in the near future. But it's going to be Jakiro and Batrider are kind of having to babysit the heck out of this Night Stalker just to keep him alive up against this very painful lane, the Brewmaster, Leshrac, and the Crystal Maiden. And with that, they're not going to be able to gank up on Shadow Fiend. I mean, Bisa picking that up. He's one of the best players in the league, or group, or whatever you want to call it. And with that, he's already up to 7 Necromastery charges, and that just gives him plenty of attack damage. And if they can't gank him, I mean, Shadow Fiend just screams gank me in that kind of situation. But if they're committing so much to the top lane in that 3v3 circumstance, then it's going to be very difficult to get much out of it. So we'll see how that goes. But on the bottom lane, I don't think too much is going to come from it. It's hard to say. The Invoker used to be able to lane extremely well, but since his nerfs, I think he'll be doing all right. Actually, Queen of Pain taking a lot of damage from the raises going on through, but they're just going across a little bit of creep pull action from the Batrider. But when it comes down to it, on bottom lane, Darkseer might be able to dive the tower later on with some high-ranking Ion Chill Surge action, but they're just both going to get the experience that they need and go from there. I think that most of the action is going to be happening on top lane, and from there, yeah.
Yeah, Blaze, I think you said it first, is that these first 6 minutes of the game are going to be really crucial for the Radiant to kind of shut down the Dire side. As you can see, they're doing a really good job with CS, Shadow Demon already with 10 CS, the Brewmaster already with 9, and then in the bottom lane here we have the Invoker with 8 CS. So, you know, the top 3 right now on the Radiant side, and, you know, they're doing a really good job of kind of just shutting them out of these lanes a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And with that...
So, if they're able to pick up a kill in these first 6 minutes, which it looks like they want to get on Batrider, but Batrider's saying no, then you know they could really pull ahead, I think, in this early game.
Yeah, they really need to shut down this pull action that's going on by Batrider. I mean, a lot of times you see actually wards going on in the easy camp and things along those lines, but just so much here with all this stacking. Batrider controlling his jungle extremely well, and yeah, he's only level 2, but he can do whatever he wants so far. He's stacked up to, this is like a quadruple stack right here. He's pulled multiple times over and denied a lot of experience that the Radiant needs just as much as the Dire do. But in the meantime, Brewmaster is still controlling the lane decently, 13 and 4 compared to Siberia's 9 and 0. As the status quo goes on, Bisa will be doing more and more, and he can pick up some good mobility as well as a BKB and be able to actually participate in team fights rather than being the glass cannon that is afraid for his life at every second. So that's going to be a pretty big deal, and it's going to be relying a lot on K the Z. Although he can't gank right now since, like I said, he has to babysit. As the team fight's going through, he's got to have to focus on that Shadow Fiend and target him, because otherwise they're going to have a hard time going up against that much damage coming out. I mean, Shadow Fiend, you see this auto attack damage, the raise damage is just harassing down this Queen of Pain really hardcore. Even with her bottle, it's only so much sustain.
Yeah, the Shadow Raise is just a very, very scary ability, especially as he gets more and more points into it, and you can see he already has 3 into it, so very scary here for the Queen of Pain, and I think that's why the Shadow Fiend is having a lot of success here, just shutting down the Queen of Pain in the mid lane. We can see 23 CS for the Shadow Fiend, and only 11 for the Queen of Pain, so you know, he's not only that, able to control the runes. Here he's going to pick up a double damage rune, and he picked the regeneration rune up before that. So really shutting the Queen of Pain down here in the middle lane. It's really going to allow him to you know, increase the damage for his team later on as the mid game goes, and you know, really secure this early game.
Now one thing is interesting, Crystal Maiden picking up the 1-1-1 build, going for a little bit in the Aura as well as the Frostbite and the Crystal Nova. I mean, I know they have enough Disable with the Split Earth and Clap once they can set those up. My question is, do you think the Frostbite rank 1 will be sufficient for them to close the gap there and get those stuns off on the hero, especially considering he has defensive Ice Path to pop that off and keep his Night Stalker alive? Yeah, the mana regeneration helps, but if you don't have enough Disable to set up the subsequent Disables, then it's going to be hard to lock anybody down in that position.
Yeah, I agree with your sentiment there. Like, I believe that Flameboy really, you know, maybe should have gone a little bit more into the Crystal Nova. 2 points into Crystal Nova would have been a little bit better, because right now Crystal Maiden's problem is she's a little bit mana hungry. Until she gets some mana boots up, or other people on her team get mana boots up, then it's going to be a little bit of a problem. But we can see here she's going in here to the mid for a gank.
Actually, look at Batrider, what he's doing. I mean, obviously, got to keep an eye on the Queen of Pain as well, but the Napalm stack up to number 7, and now he's going in with the rank 1 Firefly, but just the amount of bonus damage he gets out of that rank 1 Napalm, it's just ridiculous how much golden experience he's going to get out of this, going from level 2 and probably closing in on level 4 at the end of this. So that's going to be just so ridiculous what he just got out of that. Almost level 5, holy crap. Now Queen of Pain going aggressive. Actually, I didn't actually catch the gank action back and forth there, but Nighttime has hit. Night Stalker running around there, and I mean, middle lane was interesting there. The Queen of Pain went a little bit over aggressive, but the Leshrac got dropped down by the Night Stalker. So a lot of stuff happening all at once. The stack getting killed, focusing a little bit too much on that, I suppose. But in the end, Zyberia, as soon as Night hit, went aggressive, brought down the Leshrac really, really quickly. Very effective there. Used a lot of mana, but not a big deal. And on the other hand, it was a trade, kind of 1-for-1, Crystal Maiden versus the Queen of Pain, with Bisa being able to pick up the Queen of Pain. That's a lot of Necromancer Souls. Actually, Panda back up on top. He doesn't have his ultimate yet, and he's getting burned down. Just slowed too much. The Void setting up the Ice Path and going from there, no problem at all.
Yeah, when that first Night comes, you have to beware of Night Stalker, because he can dive that tower. He can take a good 4 or 5 hits from that tower without even worrying about anything at all. So this top lane is now kind of in danger mode. Oh, and the Ice Path going down here from Jericho. Will Flameboy get caught out? No, he's able to get safely back to the tower.
So Brewmaster is picking up Arcane Boots. That kind of nullifies even more what the Crystal Maiden was doing with the Aura, not really needing that to sustain her allies, but not a big deal one way or another. What's the Darkseer doing, actually? Diving past the tower. This is kind of what I was talking about a long while back, but he is taking the opportunity to run through the rank 3 Iron Shell, dive on that Invoker, and do what he can. The Invoker had the Cold Snap on cooldown, and so he wasn't really able to prevent what was going on there with Batrider assisting on the other end. So now Night Stalker, although they put a lot of pressure on him, rank 1 harder than Night, just enough to get him out of the bad spot there. I'm sorry about my camera control viewers, but it's just a little bit all over the place with this fight specifically. A lot of gank action, just crazy gank team in general. I'm going to be looking forward to the 5v5s, but in the meantime the skirmishes are just all over the place right now. Panda, going to be looking for that level 6 in no time at all, but yeah.
Yeah, and that 6-minute window that you were talking about, you know, is definitely now over. But even so, the Radiant know that they have this early game advantage, so they're looking to try to grab maybe a gank in the jungle here. But you see the ward here in the dire side top jungle is preventing all of that. And the bottom here, you know, there was an opportunity about a minute ago where Invoker actually wasn't in the lane there. They, I really believe that they could have pushed the tower there if they wanted to, but they decided not to go for it. Instead, Bisa here in the mid. Oh, it looks like we might have an engagement here in the middle. Bisa going on the Queen of Pain, and Queen of Pain just blinking safely away.
Yeah, just barely. I mean, he could maybe have gotten a long-range raise off, but a big deal there is controlling the runes. It doesn't matter how much you deal the damage to Queen of Pain. If she can't keep on sustaining, keep on jumping around, she loves to go in and out of fights and continuously regenerate that HP mana. Actually, Frostbite going off with the clap going through. Actually, Leshrac will finish the job, but now Nightstalker and Batrider in the fray, and there is Batrider just destroying Leshrac. Despite the Edict, he should be able to bring him down, but nice Disable's coming out. Tornado probably to follow. Yeah, Tornado will put him up. He'll bring him down and then use the Earth Panda to stun him once more, but Ambrosia in the action stuns Ambrosia instead, but it's going to get the kill on Skater Skate, aka drop the base, has fallen, and now they're trying to do damage back and forth all over the place, but it's the reinforcements from Dire. Everybody teleported in to help this out, and Radiant got destroyed in that engagement.
Yeah, while the Dire were coming up from the river, Flame Boy got destroyed. The Crystal Maiden there got destroyed solo in the jungle, and you know they really got the Dire did a really good job there of effectively taking the Radiant out one by one and grouping up very effectively there. Now we see a possible gank by Batrider and by Darkseer going up here through the Radiant jungle. Are they going to be able to catch out Shadow Fiend?
Oh, big ultimate coming in, clap, and even with the lasso going on through, it's just too much damage. Bisa can burn down at least one person here. Clap goes on through, and it's going to be Darkseer that does take the fall, and the Fireflight helped the Batrider get out of that really, really bad spot, but still going to be a really failed gank, counter-ganked very, very well by the just clairvoyance of Bisa. He knew that they were running up that direction with the Radiant Ward, pops his Invis Rune and gets a really nice ultimate. This early on, you don't see those kind of ultimates. I don't even usually bother picking up the Requiem until level 2. Maybe that's changed with the addition of his passive on death, but even so, it's interesting that he was able to get one off that early on. Frostbite going through onto Stancil. It probably won't be doing too much. Actually, if he pops his ultimate, oh, Sunstrike! Beautiful combination of Sunstrike and this Split Earth, and that's going to drop her down instead of getting the easy kill that she wanted on Flame Boy. She was probably just going to look to ulti and jump out, but instead it got turned around on her with that 2-second stun coming out of the Leshrac. Really nice, really nice.
Yeah, Bisa really showing that if you're able to keep the Queen of Pain out of the mid lane early game, that it's very easy to take her down. Bisa with 72 CS, 18 denies, and already has Boots of Travel, the double damage rune, and the Ring of Aquila.
Bottom lane though, actually, Batrider's all over this Invoker here. He's trying to run back and forth, but with the Napalm, he's just going to drop down. There's nothing he can do to get out of that until he gets his Force Staff up.
Yeah, absolutely. The Invoker going down there, that's a good kill there for the Dire. That's I'm not sure if that's going to put him back in the game. What they really need to do right now is take Bisa out. Bisa is just really farmed right now. Already only 11 minutes in the game, and he's looking to finish out his core items here before too long.
Yeah, I was talking about two factors. He needs magic immunity to survive, and he also needs mobility to stay in the action there. You can't really lock down a Batrider if you're not staying on top of them. And though Panda slows and stuns do help him stay right on top of people no matter what, the travels is going to be a really key thing there. Not only farming like a boss, but teleporting to every lane that gets pushed out and just sending it right back the other direction, but also just staying very mobile and able to outrun anybody that is staying on top of him, other than possibly Night Stalker at nighttime.
Farming like a boss is the name of the game, and you can see that we're moving in on daytime here again, so the Dire have to very quickly maybe pick up some extra kills, because things are going to get really hairy and really dicey for them here in just a minute.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, in general, Night Stalker, you gank and you push during the nighttime, and then you kind of turtle during the day, just farm up, trying to accumulate any kind of advantage that you had already gotten through that. I mean, in general, GPMs increase over the course of the game as you deal more damage and kill everything faster. Actually, bottom, the Invoker actually gets caught out pretty hard by the Night Stalker and the Darkseer, but now he's closing in on him. Dr. Chopper trying to block out Zyberia, but not going to happen. He's going to get out of there. Stancil instead wants blood, but there is the Primal Split available if he does need to pop it. And now the daytime will be coming up, like you said, in just a few seconds, and with that will change the pace of the game dramatically.
Yeah, the Invoker juking in the forest there, doing a really good job of juking, but not quite enough, and you know the Dire did a really good job of picking him out of the jungle.
Skate on the mid lane, he getting napalmed, getting voided, and there's not too much more that can come out of that. Nice Requiem to slow everything down. The raise should be enough to bring down Zyberia. Now the ultimate goes on through. lassoing him up and trying to burn down Bisa, but instead he one more auto attack to kill Stancil. Not going to happen. She blinks out. Alba on the high ground, but at least kills him with the ultimate passive, and Batrider gets killed on the back end with the Invoker auto attack. Wow, that was pretty big. It could have been a lot worse, that's for sure.
That was a really important kill to kill Bisa right there. You can see, if we look at Bisa's gold, he currently has 2,100 gold. He's going to buy himself a really nice item coming up here. But the fact that they were able to shut him down right there, he lost a lot of that unreliable gold. And, you know, that's going to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah, one thing to mention though is because I actually tested this, you can witness it in general, but in this case you look at his Necromastery charges, he's back up to 32. Despite losing half his charges, by getting the kill with that passive ultimate, the Requiem, he actually got 10 souls for that hero kill. And he gets most of that right back. So he has the 32, that's plus 64 bonus damage coming right out of the gate, and he has his Blink Dagger. Beautiful, beautiful pickup. That as long as he can survive, obviously he's going to need that BKB as soon as he can farm it. But for right now, the Blink Dagger will give him plenty of options to jump in on this daytime Night Stalker. What can he do but run for his life up against Bisa, who is so farmed right now at this stage in the game? Level 12 versus level 8. This is where Night Stalker just cringes at what he has to go up against, because he is very, very underleveled despite his very powerful ganks during the nighttime period.
Exactly, as you were saying earlier on, the weakness of Shadow Fiend here is the magic immunity and the mobility, and he is shutting down that mobility weakness very handedly here. He's already got boots travel and the Blink Dagger, and he got the haster, and it looks like, oh excuse me, I thought something was going to go down there.
Yeah, Lishrak was able to TP out on the exchange on bottom lane, but this Invoker is so poor in a bad spot. Actually, Bisa blinks out all of the Ice Path right before it happens, and he actually will survive from the Ice. Pretty much looking at that situation, just a quick glance at it, I'm like, there's no way he's getting... Oh, wait, never mind, Blink Dagger. And he's perfectly fine. So that was really, really dangerous, and popped Night Stalker's ultimate for it. That's 160 seconds left on that cooldown now as soon as the night comes out. So this entire time period, the next 155 seconds, let's say, Night Stalker is, during the daytime, and can do absolutely nothing about it. He is stuck in the daylight and cringes at that sunshine as it pours down upon him, because he's just there's nothing he can do. He's going to run around like a slug. All of his abilities will be weakened, and he doesn't have nearly the threat presence that he did during the nighttime.
Darkseer down here in the bottom lane playing a little patty cake with the tower. He's going to say, guess what, tower? You're denied. And the tower goes down, denying a little bit of gold from the Radiant team. But I think really at this point, the answer that they need is maybe a smoke gank. Maybe they need to just find Bisa out in the jungle. You can see he's out here farming some creeps. Take him down and maybe pick up a couple kills, push a tower or two to stay in this game. Otherwise, I think the Dire are in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, in the meantime, actually, Brewmaster on the top lane had farmed up so much. I mean, he's only 65 CS, but he's been active in all the kills and assists. He's 2-2-1, not too bad. But the big deal is that he just got his Blink Dagger. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make, is he has that much more initiation with that Blink, jumping in on whoever he wants and can do a lot with it. So he jumps in, pops the Thunderclap, goes on through with this Primal Split, and he slows them, he disables them, and he sets them up, most importantly for Bisa, to lay waste to them with all of his initiation there. I mean, you think about it, if you're clapped up and you have a Requiem of Souls being popped on you with that Blink Dagger, what can you really do other than Stancil blinking away? So it's going to be very, very rough on them as they go on through.
Meanwhile, we had Crystal Maiden and Jaiko go down in the mid lane there. You know, both playing support, so you know, 1-for-1 trade, not too much trouble.
Yeah, I mean, supports in general, it's a neutral trade one way or another, but I mean, I would say it's more important that Shadow Fiend just keeps on free farming with no ganks on him. He's actually feeling perfectly safe to run around with 500 hit points and no mana. That's just ridiculous in my mind, just being able to have that freedom of the map and knowing exactly where everybody is at all times. Speaking of where everybody is, what is Invoker doing right now? Alacrity going up against the Roshan. He's actually dropped him down to half health. I don't know if he did that by himself, but one way or another, that Rosh is taking damage very gradually. He's using Forward Spirits to tank as best he can, and he's actually been burning him down thus far. Invoke the Ghost Walk to be very cautious about it. If they did scout him out, they would know about it, and obviously he would just invis away. But for the time being, he's actually done quite a bit of job. The Forward Spirits microing pretty decently. They're not even getting bashed up by the thing where if you see 3 people, he bashes. But in the meantime, the armor reduction doesn't work on it, only on heroes, not on the creeps, but he's still done quite a bit with it. Jakiro just leisurely strolling by. So freaking close.
He saw him. He should have known. gosh.
There's a
Did he not
little
see
fog
it?
right here. There's a little bit of fog right here. You cannot see what's going on. So he actually walked right on by, had no idea. Now Nicer coming in 1 second too late. He actually was just going to stroll on by himself, and now that's Pony Princess getting a solo Roshan, and now wasting the Aegis completely.
The Aegis is gonna go down, and they're gonna get 2 kills here. On
If he,
the,
if his invoke cooldown was up, he probably could have ghost walked out, but no chance in the world now. And Night Stalker pops his ultimate again? I don't exactly agree with that one, since they definitely had a pretty guaranteed kill, but I guess the reinforcements were nearby. Battle Rider going in, making use of this nighttime. Now, he is slowed up a decent amount with a Frostbite, that's what I was talking about. The Requiem trying to go through does not happen, gets interrupted too much. Jakiro popping a lot of abilities off, and it looks like everybody's just going to fall back from it. Stancil still has his ultimate coming up 3 seconds, and will barely have enough mana for it in just a moment. But Bisa being very aggressive with those raises, but can get caught out just as easily. But that's a lot of ultimates already wasted for the Dire. The nighttime darkness is already expired. Actually, stun's coming out on Bisa, wants to put pressure, but more Frostbites from the Crystal Maiden, making sure that's not going to happen. Now Bisa with his ultimate, one more raise will bring down a number of individuals, and he's just going very aggressive, using that movement speed to his advantage. The freezing field to follow up, and a lot more slows, a lot more damage. Stancil trying to bring people down, but he's just going to have to blink away. In the meantime, Zyberia, a phase boots Night Stalker during the daytime compared to a boots travels Shadow Fiend during, no, of course, the daytime, is really no match at all, and he's going to be able to stay right on top of him and burn him down. Speaking of burning down, the Brewmaster is so close to death, but Batrider can't get in range for that auto attack, short auto attack range, and he actually drops down with Bisa getting a 3rd kill in this spree here, so really good for him, and he's going to have a BKB in no time at all if he wants it. But look at him, he's picked up a Yasha. I don't know if he's going for the Manta style just to split out of Night Stalker's abilities. You can't split out of the Lasso, but you might as well split out of the Slow or the Silence coming out of the Night Stalker.
Yeah, I think the Manta style is the answer here, and you saw Bisa there picking up the triple kill, really putting him really far ahead. And even though the score is 12-15 right now, if we take a little bit of a look at the difference in gold earned, you can see
Sunstrike?
It's almost
I missed him just barely.
8,000 for the Radiant. Just absolutely incredible lead that they have right now in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think it'd be a lot closer, given when we first saw the first 3 heroes picked up by the Dire, we're like, they have the most team fight in the world, they have the mid-game no matter what, but we're 20 minutes in, and that advantage has not stopped coming. They keep on getting it, they keep on winning the fights, winning the engagements, and although they're down 3 kills, they've taken 2-3 towers, and they have been farming like crazy on Bisa, winning the CS by far. So that's been a really big deal for what they've been working towards, and from there they've, had a lot going on for the Radiant in general. And it looks like Darkseer is working on a pipe. Doesn't have too much longer to get that, maybe 950 some gold, but it will help out a lot against this double Requiem combination deal that they're having to fight up against. But Brewmaster at the same time working on his Aghanim Scepter, and only a rank 1 ultimate, so it looks a little bit early to be getting that, but of course every little bit helps, and increasing that by another point. Now the smoke is coming up. Dire wants to change things, and walking right up into Skater. That's not going to be good for him. The Ice Path should go on through easily, but actually they're looking for Bisa instead. Batrider going on through with his ultimate. Can he escape? Is he fast enough? Just popping off the Requiem as best he can. Tons of burst damage raised as well, and he Requiems once more. Does not catch up to Stancil, but, you know, getting a couple easy setup kills for his allies there. Ambrosia will fall. Stancil wants to go aggressive. Gets a nice ultimate off, not only bringing down Crystal Maiden, but hurting the fleeing Leshrac very substantially, but he does die in the process, and got a question if that was worth it. Queen of Pain for Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, the correct answer definitely was to kill Bisa there. You know, if we look at the CS, 181 CS, topping the CS chart more than double, or almost double that of Invoker, who is next on the CS list. But really, it wasn't worth the trade there. Trading 4 heroes for 2, just not a really great trade, and you can see because of that, they're going to lose this tier 2 tower here in the middle.
Yeah, the only time that I would say trading 4 for 2 and getting the carry kill is only if you force the carry to buy back, because that costs him so much gold, but obviously that's not the circumstance. He's not high enough level, and they're not pressuring towers, so why waste it? And with that in mind, they're just able to bring him down. Actually, Pony Princess once more. Force Staff, he actually might be able to escape this one. Actually, a little bit of retaliation. Cold Snap goes on through. Primal Split popped off, and now Ambrosia wants to get on him. He does have that max rank Iron Shell doing a lot of damage, but the Invoke will come up pretty shortly. In the meantime, the Earth Panda doing a lot. Does not dispel the Purge, but is doing enough to stun up for the time being and keeping the Invoker alive. Now, will we have retaliation? Bisa coming down the back end. Alright, blinks in. It is nighttime, but he's bringing down Zyberia. One more auto attack, one more raise. No, he's not going to be able to finish the job. Instead, Night Stalker earns up as he is fleeing. And now Bisa's in a pretty awkward spot. He is right behind the wall of Replica. He has his Blink Dagger up in 2 seconds, and from there he will be able to disengage from this location. But yeah, he was in a weird spot. In the meantime, Stancil really on the front end. Crystal Maiden dropping down fast with the Ion Shell, but putting out a lot of damage with the Freezing Field as well. Stancil running away. Now the Blink comes through. Bisa just needs one raise. A couple auto attacks will do quite fine sufficiently there. Ambrosia taking a lot of damage. We'll try to surge out from that slowing effect, but I think Bisa should have auto attacks waiting for him in just a moment. Instead, it's going to be Invoker that finishes the job there, no problem at all.
Yeah, the story of this game is definitely Bisa just totally shutting down the Queen of Pain. If we look at the Queen of Pain's items, she's just now bought an Ultimate Orb. She's got a Null Talisman, a Magic Wand, Power Treads, a bottle, and a Town Portal Scroll. 23 minutes into the game, when you're going against Bisa, who has a freaking Yasha, Blink Dagger, Boots of Travel, Ring of Aquila, that's not really great. And also he has 4,000 gold that he hasn't spent yet.
Yeah, he just picked up, he's going for Ethereal. Wow, that'll be interesting. When I looked at this team lineup, and I looked at the Vacuum, and I looked at the Macro Pirate, which, mind you, is only rank 1, and the Queen of Pain, and the Bat Rider, and all these things, I didn't think, hey, let's force ourselves to take that much more magical damage, but Bisa wants to go very as aggressive as he has been, has had no problem at all. And if you think about it, if you Ethereal Blade and you Requiem as a follow-up, if you just blinked on top of them, how far can they go when they have that much slow? So as long as he doesn't get stunned or silenced out anyways, he can really just get some really good solo ganks, start off with that Blink Dagger Ethereal Blade, and then pop the Requiem, and that can do a really powerful magic damage combo that will bring down anybody really rapidly. Darkseer trying to go aggressive on Pony Princess, overextended, silenced up, and even with that Force Staff, I doubt he's going to be able to last much longer. Ultimate goes on through, only doesn't hit Flameboy as far as I could tell, but the Requiem on the back end, Bisa trying to deliver a ton of hurt and does manage to do so with that double damage. He does get slowed down a little bit. Blink Dagger will come up in just a moment, and one more auto attack will finish the job. Triple kill for Bisa, and all for the Invoker Crystal Maiden. Again, just these exchanges. The name of this game so far for the Dire has been just try to go so aggressive and put so much effort into getting kills that aren't worth it. And that's just very unfortunate for them thus far. And they even take a tier 2 tower immediately after the fact.
Yeah, if we look at the net worth, we can see that Bisa has 10k net worth, which is pretty much half of, well, is that half the entire game? Oh, it's half of his team's net worth. So he's just really owning it up right now. Oh, now going for the Bat Rider, Bat Rider got caught out a little bit earlier, meanwhile, you know, and he's now just getting back up, but they're going to be able to take down these tier 2 towers, split pushing on both the top and the bottom at the same time.
Indeed. So they have a lot of pressure in all these different lanes. I mean, if there's ever an opportunity for Dire to come back, they need to put pressure on these two here. The Panda doesn't have enough mana for Primal Split. They have nighttime, they can initiate on this, and they did bring down the tower, but they should be able to bring down at least one of these two heroes. I wish they could have brought down two, but it's just going to be Skater Skate that takes the fall for the tower, and that's a fine exchange in his mind. He has a support Leshrac in this role, and taking down and securing that last hit on the tower, well worth it, and getting plenty of gold for his remaining team members. So, all in all, not too unhappy about that in the end. Pony Princess pops up Tornado with the Deafening Blast Meteor combination, lagging out a little bit because of that, but no big deal. It's a good combo, but I'm actually just astonished that he was able to get out of there alive. The Force Staff and I guess just the threat of Bisa lurking anywhere. Speaking of which, he does blink away. Do they have the follow-up to bring him down? He pops a couple of illusions, delays them for the time being, but he is just so fast, popping a Requiem up on the top of the high ground. Ethereal Blades himself, actually, and is now slowed up by the Spectral Dagger. He's running for his life on the back end. The illusion's doing a decent amount, but he is picked up. The Crystal Maiden Freezing Field, burning down the Bat Rider before the lasso can do too much. Now Stancil hiding in the trees as best he can, but they have vision on him somehow, and that's going to be the end of the Queen of Pain's life. Without even popping her ultimate off, she's so close to level 16, but not going to happen. Siberia farming as best he can. Farming when your Night Stalker is stuck, farming neutrals during nighttime, you've got a problem somewhere in your lineup. So I'll just mention that in general. That's not Night Stalker's role in general. And with that, they're just getting crushed really hardcore by Shadow Fiend and playing as aggressively as he wants to.
You know, Dota, it's a game, you know, it has a metagame, I would say, but the metagame is pretty complicated. And sometimes the metagame doesn't matter as much as your execution. So if you come in here with the Shadow Fiend and you're able to out-CS a Queen of Pain in mid, you're going to be able to shut them down no matter who you are. So sometimes player skill is the test, rather than just straight up picks. I think that's what I think that's what we're seeing this game.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this game with such a high skill ceiling, and just the potential to do so many different things. Players have so many options, and outplaying individuals on every single part. Skater skate, probably in a really bad spot right here. Promise Split does get popped off, so that probably will bring down the Night Stalker in the process, who's not tanky at all, with only 1800 HP at 28 minutes. So generally, you want at least that Aghanim Scepter for the second night. But one way or another, yeah, it's just player skill coming out. He has the farm advantage. He just destroyed the mid against the Queen of Pain, which is generally a bad matchup. And the 3 people drafted up top to go on the top lane, that gave Visa all the room in the world. They didn't gank him until like 8 minutes into the game, and by then it was almost too late. So, at what cost, indeed? A little bit of Requiem joking going on around here.
But at what cost?
Exactly.
Says Visa as they run in here for the Tier 3 tower. Now, man, I don't know. Are they going to be able to get this Tier 3 tower? I'm not sure.
It's pretty well contested right now. The pipe saves them for the time being, but the Frostbite's enough to finish the job here. One more auto attack will do it. But yeah, no, that Tier 3 tower, actually, they're not going to be able to get it. They're too focused on everything else now. But yeah, they really have too much control over the lineups right now. One thing we didn't really see this game at all was that wombo combo we were talking about, vacuuming in and maybe just the Batrider lassoing and whatever you need to do to get them in Jakiro's AoE abilities. If they can get the stun, the slow, and the macro pyre off, it can do so much, but right now they're just so focused on trying to bring down Bisa. Look at that Batrider, case in point, trying to focus on him, but the support is there, and he is just too well. He gets to Glass Cannon as much as he wants to, raising up with the Ethereal Blade up on his Iberia. One more hit will finish the job, and that, my friends, is a 17-2-7 Shadow Fiend with a GPM of 700 in a 29-minute game, and that's just so strong, and now GG is going to be called.
Yeah, that's an absolutely strong Shadow Fiend. I really love the play by Visa in this game. I'm looking forward to, checking out his profile and seeing if he plays Shadow Fiend quite a lot. I'm not familiar with Visa as a player, so we'd have to check him out and see, how he is.
Yeah, he plays a lot of things. He plays a really solid Windrunner too, but I mean, he plays probably everything a little bit in a high skill bracket for sure. So along those lines, he definitely carried this game. MVP by far. I mean, I don't think that's a question, really. He just, once he got going, there was no stopping him, and put out so much in the process here.
Absolutely, and now it's just a matter of a formalization to take down the Ancient here as the saddest Tier 4 towers in the world cry their way down into crumbly tears.
And that's going to be the game. So, what do you think about the new passive? The Shadow Fiend, a couple of times in a row, did the Requiem on death and actually got a number of kills or at least assists out of the process. Do you think that was a changer of the game at all, or just happened to be icing on the cake for Visa's play here?
For this game in particular, I don't think it was sort of a change-up at all, because Visa was just out-CSing the Queen of Pain so much in the mid, and they were really able to shut down the Dire at the night time, which is exactly what you need to do when you have a Night Stalker. Now, I think in general, though, that it really does leave you a little bit of a room in big team fights as the Shadow Fiend, which I think was Shadow Fiend's problems before the latest patch. So, that little bit of extra damage can help your team out, especially if you have, just a little bit of life left on those extra heroes that like to be so sneaky and get out with a Force Staff, or that like to wisp away at the end of a team fight.
Exactly. So they were just able to stay on top of them, and I mean the momentum was there. I really liked the draft on the top tri-lane. I think it was a lot stronger tri-lane build, forcing Batrider into the jungle, which was interesting. I actually haven't seen Batrider do that much stacking in the jungle, which kind of pulled them away from a bad laning circumstance, but like I said, no pressure on the mid. It definitely started from there and built up, and I think we'll play for the Radiant in general, drafting it up and Bisa laying the smackdown. So that was very, very fun, and thanks for casting with me, man. That was very enjoyable to do that co-cast there, and hopefully we can do some more in the near future. We'll get some comments from the individuals who are watching, any viewers, any feedback, positive, negative, whatever, as far as both of us, either way, what we could improve on. And yeah, thanks for casting with me. Hopefully we can do some more in the near future, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me so much, Blaze. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the DrZealot. Blaze bringing the fire, Zealot bringing the Doctor. Thank you so much for casting with me. It was a lot of fun, man.
Very cool. Do you want to advertise your stream or something real quick?
Yeah, sure. If anybody wants to check me out, you can find me pretty much anywhere on the web at youtube.com/DrZealotTV, twitch.tv/DrZealotTV, or twitter.com/DrZealotTV.
Very cool, man. Well, thanks for casting with me, and I'm going to conclude for the evening, but have a good one, man.
You too. Bye.